He cursed as he walked. It was always like that. After drinking he cursed. He started cursing the sky. What does it matter? Does the sky belong to any family? Then he cursed life. That didn't matter either. Life was everything but also no one. Angry, he immediately cursed the entire Vu Dai village, but everyone in the Vu Dai village thought, it must be excluding me. No one spoke up. So angry. Oh, this was so angry, so angry. He had to curse whoever didn't curse with him, but no one got along. Damn it, wasn't that a waste of wine? Wasn't that suffering for him? Who the hell gave birth to him and made him suffer like this? Aha, that's right, he just kept cursing. Who the hell gave birth to him? Who gave birth to that Chi Pheo? But only God knows. He didn't know. No one in the whole Vu Dai village knew either. One morning, a man went to catch eels and saw him naked and grey in a skirt next to an abandoned brick kiln. He picked him up and gave him to a blind widow. This blind widow sold him to a childless deputy mortar worker, and when the deputy mortar worker died, he was left alone, going from one house to another. At the age of 20, he worked as a field guard for Mr. Keen, now Mr. Keen, who lived on the village's wages. It seems that several times the village's third wife, who was very young but often sick, made him massage her feet, rub her stomach, or punch her back. People said that the village chief was arrogant in public. The whole village was afraid of him, but when he returned home they were afraid of this young third wife. She was plump, her cheeks were red, and the village chief often had backaches. People with backaches were often afraid of their wives, and the lord of the world was very jealous. Some people said that the village chief was jealous of the strong field guard, but was afraid of the third wife, and did not dare to say anything. Some people said that the farmer was trusted by the third wife, the powerful woman in the house, so he stole a lot of money and rice. Everyone had a different opinion. No one knew where to start. All they knew was that one day Kai was taken to the district, and then I heard he was sent to prison. No one knew how many years he was in prison, but he disappeared for 7 or 8 years. Then one day, he suddenly appeared from nowhere. This time he came back looking completely different. At first no one knew who he was. He looked like a fisherman. His head was bald, his teeth were white, his face was black and very muscular, his eyes were fierce, and he looked hideous. He wore black clothes with a yellow western shirt. His chest was full of carvings of dragons and phoenixes with a general holding a mace, and so were his 2 arms. He looked hideous. He came back the day before, and the next day he was seen sitting at the market drinking wine and dog meat from noon to late afternoon. Then, drunk, he carried a bottle to the gate of Mr. Keen's house, calling out his name and cursing. The old man was not at home. Seeing his aggressive behavior, the first wife pushed the second wife. The second wife urged the third wife called the fourth wife, but in the end none of them dared to say a few sensible words to him. The problem was that the guy was too reckless. He was drunk and he was holding a bottle in his hand, and at that time the house was full of women. Well, just close the gate tightly and leave him alone. He will curse and you will hear him. So there were only 3 fierce dogs and a drunk man. What a noise. The neighbors were deafened, but perhaps in their hearts they were happy. Until now they had only heard the first wife, second wife, third wife and fourth wife of the old man's house curse people. Now they saw people cursing back at the old man's whole family. And how pleasant it was to curse. How exaggerated. They said to each other, this time Barkeen and his son will not dare to show their faces anywhere else. The ancestors' grave will be turned upside down. There were also some Kinder people who said, how lucky his family is, the village chief is probably not home. This village chief was Mr. Kwong, the son of Ba, who was famous for being arrogant and treating people like trash. It had to be Mr. Kwong who tried it. There's a house to see, they were right. There a loud voice shouted, what do you want to do? You fatherless bastard, what do you want to do? I told you, that loud voice was Lai Kwong's. Lai Kwong is back, Lai Kwong is back, you must know. Aha, a loud slap. Oh, what is this? The sound of punches and kicks. Okay, let's just call it broken bones. Suddenly, clang, that's right, he must have smashed the bottle against the gate post. Oh, he shouted. He cursed and screamed as if someone had cut his throat. Oh, he shouted. Oh, my people, help me. Oh, my people. Barkeen's father and son stabbed me to death. Lai Kwong stabbed me to death, oh, my people. And they saw Chi Pheo rolling on the ground, screaming and scratching his face with a piece of glass. Blood was oozing out, it looked horrible. Several dogs rushed around him, barking loudly. Lai Kwong's face paled slightly. He stood there and smiled faintly, a contemptuous smile. Humph, what did you think? It turned out to be lying down and making a scene. It turned out he was planning to lie down here and make a scene. People flocked to see. The dark alleys around were filled with people. It was as noisy as a market. The first, second, third and fourth wives of the old man's house were also confident because of the village chief, and they also came out to join in the scolding. Actually, they wanted to see what Chi Pheo would do. He might have the intention of bringing trouble to the old man this time. But the old man had returned. He spoke in a very noble voice and asked, what's all this crowded about? Here he bowed to you, there he bowed to you. People respectfully parted, and Chi Pheo suddenly lay down, motionless, groaning softly as if he were near death. At a glance, one understood the situation. He had been the village chief, then the village chief, and now it was his son's turn to be the village chief. Things like this were not strange to him. He shouted at the wives who were trying to flatter their husbands. "You go inside, women are just sloppy, what do you know?" Then turning back to the villagers, he softened his voice a bit. "You two ladies, go home, what's the point of gathering like this?" No one said anything, people gradually dispersed. Some were out of respect for the old man, but also because they thought of their own safety. The villagers hated sloppiness. Who would be foolish enough to stand there? If anything happened, they would summon you to testify. Then only Chi Pheo and the old man and his son were left. Now he approached him, gently shook him and called, "Brother Chi, why did you do this?" Chi Pheo half closed his eyes and groaned. "I only risked my life to fight you and your father, but if I die, there will be someone who will lose his fortune and even go to jail." The old man smiled faintly, but his laughter was very clear. People said he was better than others just because of his laughter. "What this guy said is so interesting. Who did what to make you die? It's a human life, not a pig's. Are you drunk again?" Then he changed his tone and asked intimately, "When did you come back? Why don't you come in and play with me? Come in and have a drink." Seeing that Chi Pheo didn't move, he continued, "Come on, stand up, come in and have a drink. We have something to talk about properly. Why do we have to make such a fuss? Outsiders will know and it will be a bad reputation." Then while shaking Chi Pheo, he complained, "How miserable. If I were at home, it wouldn't be like this. We'd talk to each other and it would be over. We're all adults, just a conversation is enough. It's just that Lai Kwong is hot-tempered and doesn't know how to think ahead. Who knows, but you and he are related." Chi Pheo did not know what his relatives were, but he felt relieved. He tried to act heavy and sat up. The old man knew that he had won, winked at his son and shouted, "Where is Lai Kwong? You deserve to die. For not telling people to boil water, hurry up." The old man helped Chi Pheo stand up, urged him a few more times, and Chi Pheo agreed to go. He only tried to limp his crippled leg. It was because the alcohol in him had faded a bit. He was no longer shouting and cursing. He seemed to have lost his enthusiasm. The sweetness softened him, and besides, all the onlookers had gone home. He seemed to be alone. The fear that had always been in his heart was awakened, the fear that had been distant from the past. He found it was really bold. Not being bold but daring to cause trouble with Ba Keen and his son, who had been the village chief for 4 generations. And thinking that, he felt that he was quite powerful. What was he doing in this village? No followers, no relatives, no brothers, not even parents. Oh, and yet he dared to fight alone with the village chief, the canton chief, the village chief of Vu Dai, the council of local men, the district men, the northern people's representative, notorious even in the district. I wonder if there was anyone in this village of more than 2,000 men who could do that. If he did, he would be content to die. But no, that fiery old man softened his heart and invited him into his house to have a drink. Well, that was fine. Since he had softened his heart, he would come in. But suddenly he hesitated a bit. Who knows, maybe this old fox would trick him into coming into his house and make a mess. Oh, but that could really be the case. Hey, let him immediately drag out some trays, pots, gold and silver objects and put them around his neck. Then have his wife go out and call the village. Then tie him up, beat him to a pulp and then accuse him of being a robber. This old man Keen, with his years of exploiting, what pain did he have to endure to be so weak as chaff? Well, why would I go into the tiger's mouth? He'll just stand here, roll over here and scream again. But think about it, even if he rolls over and screams again, will anyone else come out? Besides, the alcohol is weak now. If I have to slash my face a few more times, it will hurt. Just go in. Go in, what's the point? If you want to smash his head, just go right into his house and smash it.